Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Trending Thursday. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Glad to have you here. Glad to be here. The chat, Joey. I just need that real quick so I can see what's going on with everybody up in here. In a moment. Well, actually, if you can hear me, by all means, please respond in the chat, preferably with VV Nation, to let me know that I am coming across loud and clear. All right, let me bring that chat up. And again, glad to have everybody here. We got a special. I lost it. We got a special guest here today. Um, Joey's moving around a little bit. All right, I had it and then it went away. So it's all right. This is the beautiful thing about being live. This is the beautiful thing about being live. Let me click and then click again. Draw this over. Not yet, not yet. And let me spread this apart. There we go. Now I'm good. All right. So, no, and I didn't have any Cafe Bustelo today, John. Not at all. Believe it or not. Not at all. Not a drip, not a drop of Cafe Bustelo today. Don't know why. It's just been a busy day. A lot going on. All right, a lot going on. Let me clear this chat. And so, PPI stuff came out today. Still stocks meeting or exceeding earnings, and a lot of news going around. So today we're gonna concentrate. I think one of the biggest things I want to concentrate on are the biggest industries that are moving right now. Crazy market, up one day, down one day, up one day, down one day, more of a sideways moving market. We all know that it's a trader's market. As I look today, look at that. Green yesterday, back to yellow today. Still more yellow in the color guard than not. What does that mean? Cautious. That's the biggest thing. Be cautious in the market. I'm not telling anybody to panic sell. I'm not telling anybody to go pick up a whole bunch of new positions as well. A lot of yellow, mixed day in the market today. Looks like the only thing that's in the green is the NASDAQ. So big tech stocks are pushing the NASDAQ higher, but all of the other major indices are down. The primary wave is still up again, even with this pullback, but it's working off of such lower numbers from the week before. Actually, so that's why it's up. So, but man, we couldn't get a green light today anyway because of the red light last week. Stocks flips from hold to sell day by day. Eric, that is the epitome of a trader's market right now. This is not a trending market. This is a trader's market, back and forth, back and forth. Good afternoon, Greg. So why not try to put the odds in your favor? And we're going to concentrate on, of course, news, stocks that are making the news, but we're also going to concentrate on industries that are moving as well. I want to take a look at the market timing graph. Let's go put that on real quick. And man, look, talk about the day. Look at the day. Big swing to the downside today. Moving down, even as we came on. The market is still moving lower. Nice little bounce as we've gone live. All right. But is it enough to overtake this big gap down today? Look at that. Look at that gap down. Everywhere I read, they say the money is made in the waiting and not in the buying. Well, the money is made in the better decisions that you make based upon whatever system you're using. All right. I'm selling premium on the SPX and selling premium on high IVR ETFs for now. And as I said, we have a special guest today that may what he's got to say may be right in your wheelhouse as well. Jazz says, are we in a recession? I honestly think that we've been in a recession. A lot of people out there say, no, we're not in a recession just quite yet. And listen, we had GDP down for 2 straight quarters. That was the true definition of a recession. So yes, I believe that we are in a recession, and that's my opinion, since you asked my opinion. There's a lot of other people are going to say a lot of other things based upon what they believe as well. All right, so before we start to get into what the hottest industries are, before we get into what stocks are making the news and letting the VectorVest software, fan that out as to what's good, what's bad, I'm going to bring on our guest today. As you were talking about, John, selling premium, my guest today is going to be Jim Penna, the manager of retirement, and he's going to step in real quick to tell you about something that he's got going on to help you in that space, John. So Jim, let him know who you are and take it away. All right, no volume.
Sorry about that.
There you go. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Glenn. Hey, Joey. Hi, everyone in VV Nation. Thanks for taking the time. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jim Penn. I'm the manager of retirement services here at VectorVest. Great to have you here. I can't see the chat box, but I'm sure there's a lot of folks' names that I recognize. So thanks for taking the time. I just want to, I'm beyond for 90 seconds here. I wanted to share with you next week. And then I'll talk about selling premium and what it's going to be all about. But next week, I'm doing a free presentation. Glenn or Joey's going to put the link in there for you to sign up next week. And it's going to be all about covered calls, selling covered calls, mostly with the objective of generating a safe, steady income. In other words, a buy right. And as we know, buy rights are a bullish trade. So of course, we're going to talk about when to place the proper time to do a buy right and how it could help advance. My guess is, I'm not sure who said that, I think it was John, was his name?
Yeah, it was John.
Selling premium. Yeah, great way to do it. My guess is John's probably selling options, probably selling spreads, the way he phrased it. And I think it's a great way to go right now. I also think the covered call, because it's so versatile, we walk through a process that we use to find the right stocks, to do it at the right time. We've had some great success back in 20 and 21. We did really nicely in our retirement coaching group, just selling covered calls to generate income. The end of 21, 22 was not as good. And the reason is because, as Glenn says, we're in a recession. And right, if you use the textbook definition of GDP being down for 2 quarters, I guess we are in a recession. But just to tweak that a little bit, I know in the VectorVest program, we talk about a bull and a bear market. We're still in a bull market scenario, but understanding the details of that, as anybody who's in the retirement coaching group knows, I still lean very much towards the bearish side of things here until some of these headwinds clear. So not only is doing the buy right a great way to generate income in an uptrending market, understanding the covered call, being able to sell them against stocks that you already own as a defensive measure, understanding what a collar trade is, all of this is the most popular, the most widespread used option trade there is the covered call. All right. So next Tuesday, I'll be doing a couple of sessions at noon and then again at 6 p.m. Or no, I'm sorry. Tuesday at 4:30, then noon and 6 p.m., I believe. Either way, go to the link that I think is on there and you can sign up for any one of those sessions. Hopefully I'm giving those times right, but it's one of those other. It's Tuesday and Wednesday.
The 16th is at from 4:30 to 5:30.
Okay, great. And then that's the Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Right. And then we'll be going Wednesday as well, noon and 6 p.m. So whichever you can log into and get there to be part of, I look forward to having you there to talk about, again, a very popular trade, a very widely used trade. And quite frankly, if you're building and managing, and this is more with retirement-minded ideas behind it, not only to generate the income, but to understand how to sell them against stocks you already own. Again, I'm looking on my other screen at what the current market's doing, right? I did the color guard last night and commented that, the market was up, because it was, it was taken as the CPI number, right, had dropped from 5 to 4.9. And the market, I suppose, rallied around that. I didn't have a lot of faith it would continue, but
that's a big drop, Jim. Wink, wink.
Yeah. There's still a lot of things going on, so still time to be protective, time to have that covered call tool in your pocket. So, love to have you there. Go to that link, join me, and I look forward to it.
Real quick before you go, Jim, Jazz says it's too difficult for me. Can you explain just how easy it is to and why it's necessary to learn to do a covered call?
The fact, if you're, so here's the thing about a covered call, and this is what we're going to talk about on Tuesday. It is, first of all, it's not a difficult trade to map out and to understand how you're doing it. The definition we use, the most logical, straightforward definition of what a covered call is enough for me well, it should be enough for you to want to understand and do the trade. And I use it, and I've spoken with him actually in the past. The author Lee Lowell, in a book that Dr. Delito had read, he kind of told us all to read it. It was about options. Part of it was about covered calls, and Lee Lowell defined the covered call this way. He said, there are other traders and investors out there who are willing to pay you money today to take your stock away from you at a higher price. Okay. If you're not familiar with a covered call, that's all you have to know. Somebody's going to pay me money today. That's mine. I get to keep it. And they're willing to take my stock away if it continues to go higher, right? At a higher price. So we should all be taking advantage of that in our portfolios, whether it's to protect the position, to build a cushion, lower cost basis. And it's really not difficult. All you're doing is selling a call option. You're selling someone else the right to take your stock away at a higher price. That's all it is. Now, there are a couple of steps you need to understand exactly when to do it. What's the strike price, expiration dates, things like that. But even that's not very difficult. It's just a matter of being disciplined and understanding a few basic concepts. But it's probably, other than just buying a call or buying a put, probably the easiest option trade that I can think of.
And keep in mind, folks, this webcast that the link is in there for is a free webcast. You go, nobody's asking you, you're just going to get an understanding of what it's all about. Jim is going to explain it out, lay it out to you, and show you how it works. So Jazz, Maria, both of you saying, it's difficult. I think Jim has a unique way of being able to explain it in a very calm and great way that's easily understood. And Halbert says free is good. Free is good.
Yeah, free is good. Yeah, and listen, for anyone who has, and that's perfectly okay to feel that way. Listen, that's why we're doing the presentation. I'm doing it to introduce, if you're not already familiar with covered calls, a big purpose of the presentation is to introduce them to you. And the real reason to come and join me is if you're not comfortable, you're not sure how to do it.
Right.
I'm going to show you exactly how and why you should. All the more reason that I hopefully will see you guys there.
All right. Thank you for that, Jim. Hey, hit the like button. Jim took time out of his day. He's got a lot of stuff going on. And thank you for stopping by, Jim. He's got a lot of stuff going on. So
thank you, Glenn. Thank you, everyone.
You got it, man. Hit that like button. Nothing is free, Glenn. Lou, that presentation is free. Ain't nobody making you pay for that. It's free. That's free. All right. So that's all I got to say about that. If you look, after you've signed up for it, it looks like this. This is what it'll look like. It'll say you're registered for the covered call, what it is, and how to trade it. It looks like I signed up to be registered for May 16th at 4:30 to 5:30. After that's over, Wednesday, I believe he's got two, one at 12 p.m. and one at 6 p.m. So we're covering everybody all over. Jeff says, I'm signed up. Thank you. Way to go, Jeff. So this is what it looks like. I just wanted to walk you through the link Joey put up there. We'll get you signed up. You put in your information. Go support him. All right, go support him. It's a free webcast. And for anyone who's uncomfortable with options, he's right. This is a great way to at least get a free understanding on what it's all about. All right, so JAGX. Actually, Crash Coin, I'm putting out a video tomorrow about some of the most widely talked about stocks right now. On our website, actually on our, wrong one. On our comments, a lot of people are asking me about AQST and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So that's going to be one of my stocks in the video tomorrow is AQST. I may just take a look at JAGX, but I've got 5 stocks. Did I write them down? Yeah, I've got 5 stocks that have been very talked about, like Boeing, like Tesla, Palantir, and a couple of other stocks. I will see what's going on with JAGX Crash Coin, and if it makes sense then I may add it, and then that way I'll give my insight on it. All right, but you say it's a big move in the last 2 days. I got to find out why and maybe put it into as one of the stocks in my story as well. All right, so that's going to be tomorrow's 6 p.m. video. I haven't named it yet, but it's going to be somewhere along the lines of some of the most heavily talked about stocks in the market right now, and letting VectorVest do its analysis to make sure, is it newsworthy to really buy, or is it just a lot of buzz and maybe you want to stay away from it? All right, with that, let's get into what news is moving markets. We'll do that next, starting off with U.S. wholesale price data for April points to easing inflation pressures. Now, is it enough for the Fed to pause? I asked the question yesterday. A lot of people said that the Fed should be pausing going into the next announcement. We'll see. We still got a lot of time between now and then, before the next announcement, for him to make up his mind. Second thing, how about this? Kashkari says inflation too high, wages soften somewhat. So you're going to have the bullish or the hawkish people in the Fed. I'm not hearing too much from dovish Fed chiefs. Are you? All right. So I think the Fed is trying to placate the market by saying possibly ready for a pause. Placate. That's the word that I'm going to use. Because from a realistic standpoint, if he's still trying to get inflation to 2, he's still got to keep on raising interest rates. He's not there yet. So I say for the purposes of the masses, he's going to placate by saying that he's going to pause. Now, does he pause? I don't know. I think that on paper he does not, because we're not where we need to be. I understand that the raising of the interest rates is a laggard, and at some point in time he's got to sit back and see what's going on without raising. I just don't think that happens yet. But that's just my thinking. I think that the hawkish chiefs in the Fed are whispering in his ear. Overall, he's got to make the right decision. All right, 50-50 for June 14th. William, I'm at that point. I think all of the talk around people saying that he needs to pause, does it affect him? Does it affect him, or does he just say, screw all of that, I got to continue down the path that I'm on to make sure that we don't get caught out like we were when we called inflation transitory? And yes, will he overshoot? They normally do. Will he super overshoot this time? Honestly, I think so. And there it is. Jeff says the next CPI is the day before June 14th, which is, 8:30 FOMC. So I think that it may come down to the wire. All right. I think it may come down to the wire on whether or not he raises or not. Hey, we got 155 people in the room. Make sure you guys are sharing the link to this live stream right now. People need to know. People out there who don't even know about us need to learn about what's going on in the market and how to better invest their money. All right, next story. Commodity. Crude oil lower. Weak U.S. labor data raises recession worries. So I saw the comment. I saw the comment about, there it is. Jeff says a recession is officially 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP. Didn't we already get that? Didn't we get 2 quarters of GDP down? Somebody back me up on that. I swear we did. Type a yes or a no in the room. We did get 2 quarters of GDP down. Type a yes or a no in the room. I swear we did. I swear we did. All right. Type a yes or a no in the room. So Jeff says we're not quite there. And it was sometime last year that we did get the 2 quarters of GDP down. So Jeff, I'm not sure where that came from to say that we weren't quite there yet. I wanted to address that. I'm 99.9% sure that we did get 2 quarters of GDP down. All right. It sure feels like a recession, says Maria. Who you telling? You ain't about whistling Dixie right there. Who are you telling? All right. But crude oil, which I really thought it was going to be a big play with the winter. The winter wasn't as cold as everybody thought it was going to be. A lot of people are not driving cars. to work because they're working from home. A lot of things were holding back what I thought would have been an explosive move on oil. And oil is still a tough play to be in. And then Russia is selling it cheap to everybody so that they can finance this war that they've got against Ukraine. And everybody's saying, yeah, I want that oil. And it's dirty oil. And they'll take the oil. So if they're going to go buy it for them for so much cheaper, why do they want ours? So oil is a tough play. All right, Jake says this stuff really works. Thank you, Jay. He said that to Joey, but thank you, Jake. I appreciate it. Down from the prior quarter, yes, but not negative. So that's what Jeff is saying. That it was down but it was down 2 quarters. Again, does that not mean it was down for 2 quarters? You're saying it wasn't negative though. Let me let that settle a little bit. Dan says, as the U.S. dollar continues to drop in what should be a brutal 3-year cycle decline, this orange route for silver is very possible. The commodities bull market is your best opportunity in your life. Damn, you so pump stuff. I like the stuff that you say, but I'm not going to the extreme. I'm not saying that it's the best opportunity in your life. Is it a good opportunity? Possibly. I'm looking at gold. We talked about gold last week in our special presentation. It looks toppy again. We'll talk a little bit more about gold as well. The other commodities that I'm looking at would be uranium, would be lithium, other commodities, especially because for cleaner energy, uranium for nuclear power, and of course for cleaner energy, lithium for the batteries for EVs. Are they good opportunities? Yes. But again, we're in a market where we're not trending in either direction. And a lot of the cars outside of Tesla are not meeting up to the expectations of deliveries. Now, also Tesla's added in the fact that they're trying to price everybody outside of the market, eating into their own margin. I still think that Tesla's a great company. But short term, I think they're still going to get hurt because it's biting into margin. We'll see. All right, so when you talk about commodities, the best opportunities of your life, Dan, I'm not going right there yet. That's, I just want to address that. That's all. Next one. How many of you heard this story? Robinhood announces plans to launch a 24-hour trading with names like Apple and Tesla. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. All right, the bullish percent on gold is really high. Yes, it can stay there for months, but sometimes it's the big sell-off during these uptrends. We're going to take a look at gold in a second. I got a whole watch list of gold stocks that we keep an eye on. So we go. Michael says they refuse to call it a recession because unemployment rate is still low. Now, that's correct, and I will agree with that. I agree with that it didn't have all of the components to be called a recession because of the low unemployment rate. Also part of the dictionary term of a recession, not only the 2 GDP quarters down, but high unemployment. That makes up the full gambit of it, and we're not at that. We never got to that point. So from that perspective, Michael, that's why they probably wanted to rename it or recategorize it. I do agree with that. But the first part of the definition of the 2 GDP quarters down, I still think we're in a recession. But again, what do you feel about Robinhood being able to trade 24 hours? You think it's good? Type of 1. If you think it's bad, type of 2. If you really don't give a flying patootie, type of 3. All right. All right. Jeff says you are correct. Quarter 1 and quarter 2 were both negative. Thank you, Jeff. I just listen. Anytime I see a comment, I try very hard to address it. So good 1, bad 2. Don't give a patootie 3. All right. Good 1. Michael says good. Peter says good. Greg and Michael both say 2. All right. David. And some of y'all, I'm with that as well. But it's a story. I wanted to put it out there. I really don't give a patootie either. But notice that with the news, it's up about 4.5% today. William says, no, people need a rest. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of people that want to trade 24 hours a day. I don't know if this draws more people. Because if it draws more people and they now have more money under management because people are now putting more money into Robinhood, that may not be a bad marketing. But you're right. People do need a rest, William. I agree with that. John says, I shorted Hood a while back. Today it's got a little bounce. Depends on the bid-ask spread at night. Oh, you got to have some traders, don't you? All right, Swafford, you got to have some traders. How are you going to trade 24 hours? But if you're trading 24 hours, that opens it up to people across the pond, right? Now, people in other countries where we're sleeping will be trading, and maybe you do get the bid and asks, right? Maybe you do get the bid and ask because people are actively trading. When we're sleeping, they're awake. Next story, Google unveils AI feature for Gmail search at annual I/O conference. How many of you use Gmail? I use Yahoo and I use Gmail. I'm curious to know what this is all about and how it's going to work. But you've seen I do use ChatGPT, which I think is great. Please define patootie. A patootie. You don't give a flying rat's patootie. But. How about that? I'll say it that way. But IEP short, yes. And that's the Hindenburg thing. That's going to be one of the stocks in my video for tomorrow as well, Devendra. That's going to be one of my stocks in the video as well. IEP. Hindenburg goes after companies, man. And Icon got hit. Now you could have an overnight stop. You sure could. The 3 crossed below the 8 on Nugget today. Again, David, I'm thinking that gold might be looking toppy. The Buck Stock here says it's a best case scenario. The U.S. will likely see a soft landing with low, slow growth across 2023 before picking up in 2024. Listen, I'll take that. All right. Again, non-judgment zone. Target for IEP, I don't have any idea. I don't like giving targets on anything because no matter what I say, it's going to do what it's going to do. But we will look at that tomorrow. That's going to be in tomorrow's video. IEP will be in there. Dr. Paul thinks that we'll have a 3 to 5 week pullback on gold. See, I can't give time periods. Thank you for that, Chris. I won't give time periods because I'm not comfortable being able to do that, whether it's a target to the upside or to the downside. That's not my forte. Next story, Disney's shares sink nearly 9% after the company reports streaming subscriber losses. So that was one of the stocks that I wasn't sure was going to meet or exceed earnings in the video that I did earlier this week on stocks for earnings. Everybody knows that the streaming side of the space is crowded. So many companies are trying to get a piece of that pie. But, I still think of I hate using this word, the woke nature of Disney still is a PR issue. I think it was enough of an issue that they got Iger back. All right. And putting him back at as steering the ship was hopefully going to take some of that PR pressure, negative PR pressure off of them. The problem is Disney is going after the governor of Florida and Florida is going after Disney back and forth. Nonetheless, none of this is good for Disney. Now, do I want Disney to just shut up and mind their business? No, that's not my place. As a company, they're able to do whatever they want to do. But you know something? As a company, you should be speaking on behalf of the company and its operations. This is my opinion. Rather than outside of what people need to know about what's going on in that company to invest. I think that is as diplomatic as I can be in this conversation right here. Disney's a company. Disney provides services, and enough of these services are designed to help people, to attract people to buying into the stock. My personal opinion is that's where they should focus what they need to do. Okay. So, look what woke did to Bud. Absolutely. Listen, I don't want to go down the path, and I didn't really want to use the word woke. I really didn't want to, but that was, for the lack of a better word, that's the word that I came up with. So, that was diplomatic, Glenn. They are going to end up like Budweiser. Listen, I got a lot that I want to say, but this ain't the place to say it. All right, that's the way. I got a lot that I want to say. So I'm a stock guy, not a politician. All right, let's go to the next story. Microsoft skips salary increases for full-time employees this year. I think that that's going to be a lot of news for a lot of blue chip companies coming up for this year. Do you agree with that? Yes or no? Do you agree with that? People are trying to do the best that they can to keep the bottom line in the black. So whether it's laying off people, in this case, not giving out bonuses or salary increases, I think, folks, you're looking at the beginning of something that's going to happen across the board on a lot of companies. This is another way to keep investors happy, keep them like they're making money. And I think that with the buybacks, with the dividends, with all of the superficial things that they're doing, I call them superficial, with all of the superficial things that they're doing, what happens when you run out of that creativity and then the real earnings have to hit because of rising interest rates? The real number hits and you got nothing else to fall back on. And Swafford is right. Whatever it takes to keep earnings up. As an investor in a company, that's all I really care about. I don't care that you're not raising salaries or taking bonuses or any of that stuff. As an investor, I don't care. As an investor, all I want to know is, are you making money? And that's what Microsoft is doing for their investors. That sucks for their people who's busting their humps to do the job. That's all I got to say about that. All right, there's the Robinhood story again. This is another side of that. So Microsoft is not giving raises. Robinhood is not giving bonuses. I put those stories side to side to offset the quarter four losses. So now, to make the losses look not so bad, $500 million in bonus. Man, if I worked there, I'd be hot. But as an investor in the company, I'm like, yo, whatever you got to do, bro. You do you, boo-boo. That's a tough way to be, but I saw a lot of yeses that came up in the room that I think that this is going to start to be the plan for a lot of companies. This is the next tier of what they need to do to keep the bottom line in the black. Last one. How many of you like to play Top Golf? Type of 1 in the room. All right. And VP is right. That's what comes before the layoffs. All right. If you're not going to give bonuses or you're not going to give raises, maybe the layoffs are coming. All right. How many of you played Top Golf? Type of 1 if you have, type of 2 if you haven't. I think Top Golf is kind of fun. I don't know how my wife beats me every time we go. Everybody knows that I'm the much better golfer, but I don't know how she tends to beat me. I don't know. Chris says, it's crazy that you can have quarter four losses and still a bonus of $500 million is on the table and needs to be canceled. These companies make money. A lot of 1s and 2s. Top Golf is fun. Even if you don't know how to play golf, it's fun to watch people swing at the ball. Just don't be on the top deck if you don't know how to play. I've seen too many videos where people fall into the nets that keep you from falling to the second floor, down to the first floor. John says, you let her win. We know that, Glenn. Shh, don't tell her that. Don't tell her that. She's not even watching this. Don't tell her that. All right, so Top Golf sinks the most since 2020, which was during COVID, on concern the golf boom is fading. Wow. So, how many golfers do I have out there? I play golf every opportunity that I get. I shoot about 100. I'm trying to get it down to 90. Once I can get it down to 90, then I'm going to try to shoot bogey golf, which will be about 80. But how many golfers out there? And do you think that did golf go through a boom? I think golf has been prevalent for a lot of years. I don't think that it just had a boom. I don't think it recently just had a boom. Now, one of the things that you could do during COVID was you could play golf because you were outside. All right. John says, I got kicked off the course about 20 years ago because I was too good. Oh, hold on. That deserves this. Hold on, because that's funny. That is so funny. Mark says an ex-golfer here. Cigar, and Mark both play golf. So I like to play as often as I can. But I don't know if there was necessarily a new boom in golf. But I do know that during COVID, that was one of the things that you could do because it was outside. And so, but I don't know that since COVID, was there a boom? Well, anyway, Top Golf sinks because the most since 2020 on the concern of golf boom is fading. All right, so let's start putting some of these stocks from the stories into the VectorVest system. For oil, we're going to go to our viewers tab. We're going to go to the big stock news. For oil, I'm going to use USO. All right, let's go put that. By the way, that's going to be the number one stock by VST. There it is. It's an ETF, though. All right, let's go to the next story. Next story is Robinhood, which is RH. Again, look at that. Since we've been on, it's been up another %. Let's go put Hood in there. Let's go see. Let's go see if Hood outplays USO. Where's Hood? Nope, does not. It's got a VST of 0.89. All right, positive earnings growth rate, but negative earnings. All right, let's go to the next stock in the list. Let's go to Google. Google, that's the AI. Let's go see if this is worth it for me to go get in. I'm going to go to GOOGL, throw that stock up in there. I remember people running with masks on. I never saw that in my neighborhood. I never saw the people outside running. I did see, believe it or not, I did see people sitting in their cars by themselves with a mask on. I did see that. And I drove by and I'd be like, why? All right. Google takes the top VST spot now with the 3 stocks that are in there. Let's go to Disney. Disney, man. I'm telling you, there's still a PR problem with them. And then now put on top of that, the streaming losses. I'm not sure about Disney. Let's go type that into the list. Disney. Let's go look at that. I stopped golfing after the second cart rollover. Wow, Jake, that's not good. I remember people running with masks. I still see people along their cars with masks on. Tell me you vote. I'm not putting that up there. I stopped golfing after the second cart rollover. That was Jake. That was funny, Jake. There's Disney. Disney now takes the bottom spot by VST. And again, I know that the bringing back of Iger was part of the bringing them back was to go after this whole PR issue, and it's going to bite them in the butt for a long time. It's going to bite them in the patootie. Microsoft skips the salaries. Let's go see how that affects the stock. Let's go put in MSFT. All right. And where does that fall? Right behind Google. Actually, it's got a VST above 1. The second stock in the list that's got a VST above 1. All right. Let's go to the next story, which is Robinhood. I think that's just buzz. Oh, I already got Robinhood in there. I think that's just buzz. I mean, you look at it, there's no fundamentals behind it. RT is above 1. I think that's more and less just buzz. And the last stock is Top Golf. I think the ticker symbol is MODG. MODG. Top Golf. There it is. Now, talking about the boom. Where is it at? It's at the bottom by VST. And it's a sell. It's fairly valued. So these are the 6 stocks that made the news. The only stock in here that's a sell is Top Golf. Where's the sales? And the sales growth. They're making money. Actually, out of all of the stocks that are here, this is the only company that's got sales growth double digits. So that just goes to show. Let's go view the stock graph. That just goes to show that it was rocking and rolling. I'm going to put on sales growth. Nope. Add parameter. Sales growth must already be on here. I want to look at that over the last 6 months. Big drop in sales growth. It was up to 20%. Wow. So the sales is affecting it. It's still positive. The sales are still positive, but a big drop, which means a lot of people not going to play Topgolf. But prior to that, look at the big pullback on it. Went down. The special sauce for me in regards to getting out of the stock, I just did a video on it, knowing when to sell, is to use the VectorVest stop price. When the stock's price falls below the stop price, it gets a sell. That's a great opportunity to get out. Would you have rather gotten out there or still be holding it here? All right, would you rather have gotten out there or still be holding it here? And it gave you two opportunities to get out falling below the stop price. You want to learn more about what the stop price is in the VectorVest system and how it works. I just did a video talking about knowing when to sell your stocks. If you haven't taken a look at it, I invite you to do so. But I think that this is like, I'm almost going to call it like the holy grail. I'm going to step on a limb. Call it about the holy grail about knowing when to get out of a stock. Now, in the video, I say you can use it as gospel or guide. As I watch a stock fall, do I really want it to fall all the way down to here before I get out? Maybe not. So I add a couple of other different things. Look at moving averages. Look at support and resistance. There's a lot of other things you can tie in, but this stop price actually really is the line in the sand. Mark says, I used to work for Disney. I love that company, but I won't go there until they unwoke themselves. So I hear you, Mark. I hear you. All right. Again, I didn't want to use the word woke because I knew it was going to stir up more political stuff, but that was for the lack of a better word to say, I thought that was appropriate. All right. So that was Topgolf. Let's go look at all of these real quick. Let's go look at the graphs of all of these real quick. There's Google, put these all on a 6-month graph. The stock is currently above value. There's the stop price though, along with moving averages. Google AI, the stock's price is moving up on good volume. Sales growth is falling, but starting to bump up again. This may not be a bad play. The biggest thing I don't like about it is that it's way overvalued. All right, let's go. Value is the green. The stop price is blue. I love the move on Microsoft. Look at that. Bottom left, top right. The stop price is doing a great job keeping you in it. I don't like that it's way overvalued. I do like the bump up in sales growth, but way overvalued. Just keep those things in mind. Let's go to the next one. USO oil, all over the place. I think that this is a real representation of how hard it is to play oil right now. Oil is a trader's play. If you agree with that type one, oil is a trader's play. And as you can just see on this 6-month graph, the volatility of this is just everywhere. This is really, really a trader's play. And you know something? What would I use in a case like this? I'd use bounces off support and resistance. I'd create, make sure horizontal. There's my swing high coming off of this bounce. But look at that pullback. Man, this is a trader's play. Right now, what would I be? I'd be bearish. But I also know that with what Russia's doing, look at this pullback. It tried to rebound, but got to a level of resistance and came back down. I think I would be bearish on oil right now. The oil trades can give you a major headache. It can give you agita. How many of you are Italian in the room? That's called agita. That ain't called headache. That's giving you some agita. All right, so that's the oil play. I'd be away from oil as much as I like to play it. It's not feasible to play it right now. Robinhood, I think it's buzz. The stock is way overvalued. The volume is there. Look at the sales growth, not there. I think that this is just buzz. And look at the move today. Broke above a level of resistance just to come back down. A little bit of a spinning top. I'm not real comfortable with playing the news on this. All right, I think it's strictly news. Strictly news. Hey, let's get people in here so that they can trade for 24 hours. We can do that. Oh, how about this, folks? We really want to give our people back the money, so we're going to screw our own people by not giving our bonuses just so our investors are happy. Well, business, you got to do what you got to do. I'm sorry, but I may be biased to crypto, but Doge has got to be moving up from here. I'm not. So you know what? I'll do this again real quick just for you, Crash. All right. I told you that I look at a site. I do look at a site in regards to this. There's the web. I do look at a site. Where's it at? Research. Nothing's telling me. There's my crypto. There's nothing telling. And let's even go down to Doge. You're willing it, Crash. You're willing it. I'm looking at the last 7 days. I'm looking at the last 30 days. And it's down another 10%. It was down. We had a live yesterday and we talked about this same website. You're willing it. And that's what I don't want. One of the things that I want you guys to learn, no matter what it is, whether it's crypto, whether it's oil, whether it's gold, what you think doesn't matter. And I don't mean that in a bad way, Crash. I mean that in an honest way. What you think doesn't matter. But even though I don't track it, I'm looking at it. There's Doge, and to say that, well, it's got to be going up. Says who? Says what? Nothing. I can click on it. Where's the graph on it? Let's go. Nothing. Let's put this on a 1 month graph. Nothing. A 1 year graph. Nothing. So and again, Crash, I'm not coming after you. I want you to be looking at anything, whether it's this or whether it's a stock, with reality. You know, if it's got a level of resistance, let it break above and get it there. Nothing's telling me that it's good, man. Nothing. All right. So I just wanted to bring that out to you, because I try to answer the question. I want these kind of questions. I want these kind of questions because I want to answer them. That's what it's all about. You got it, Crash? All right. You got it? All right. Don't be mad at me because, listen, I want to keep it real. Would you rather me lie to you, Crash? And listen, one of the things that I like that we don't do rather than anybody else, I like to tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear. Do you think that's fair? Yes or no? I'd rather tell you what you need to hear rather than to tell you what you want to hear. Do you think that's fair? Yes or no? All right. So now, I hear what you might have done in the past, Crash. I hear that. But I need to see something to give me some confidence to play crypto or even play Doge right now. That's all I got to say, man. That's all I got to say. All right. Next stock, Disney. What am I on? 6 month graph. Look at that tight channel. Look at that tight channel on Disney. And guess what it just did with today's activity? It broke below that level of support in that channel. And where is it now? Getting ready to go through the stop price. Getting ready to go through the stop price. Just keep that in mind. Michael says, that's why I'm here. There you go. I like that. I want to hear what I need to hear, please. Fang, I don't know about tech stocks. If I get a chance, I'm going to look at some of your stocks today. Wow. We already looked at Topgolf. All right. Let me look at today. I told you I wanted to show you some of the hottest industries. So I've got a search that I use for that, right? It's called Delta Searches Industries. And this is the search that I use to try to find out what the hottest industries are. So I want to find a delta or change in price in industry over the last 10 days. But I want these industries 10 days ago to have a 10-day delta greater than zero. So I'm looking for industries that were on the rise, but now I want to see if they're still rising. So when I run the search, it gives me the industries that are hot industries. So what I do, rather than trying to spend the time to go through it while we're here, is I try to make sure that I'm looking. Let me move this over. I'm looking and it shows me that the price delta 10 days ago was at 4%. Over the last 10 days, it's going up 9.5%. That tells me it's moving. I like that. So the next step I do is I go look at the industry graph. I put the industry graph on 3 months and I want to look at the industry and see if it's really moving. I want to see if it's really moving. This is why I do this ahead of time, because it takes a minute for this to work through. Wow. Look at that industry. So now I go, all right, let's go see what stocks are in that industry. I right click, I view the stocks in the industry. And I go through the process of looking at high CI stocks. If the industry is on the rise, I want to see the stocks that have the ability to go up more than they go down. So then I go through it, but then I also want to look at the relative value, relative safety. Want to make sure that they're good. Buy recommendations. So CELH made my list, and then the next stock that made my list today was CCEP. So that's how I went through the process to find out which industries were on the rise. I wanted to see the deltas, but I also wanted to see what the industry group's graph looked like. Does everybody understand what I just did? All right, so I, set up the search. If you don't have the search, which you don't, you can create your own search, all right, on industries. The next thing I do is I look at the changes in the deltas, and then I look at the graphs, and then from there I look at the stocks within the industries to sort them by CI. All right, with that process, here's my stocks for the hottest industries for this week, right here. Now, did somebody say do the hustle? Doge has been dead since Elon went on Saturday Night Live TV show and said Doge was wow. I don't know. All right. So these are the ones that I had last week. Let's go see how they worked out. So these were my picks from last week. Let's go back 7 days. Let's go see how they worked out. Quick test. Oh, we made some money. Look at that. CELH, MCK, we made some money. 5.37% out of the 8 stocks. 5 of them went up, 3 of them went down. We outperformed the market. All right, let's go see if we can keep that going into next week. Here's my stock picks for this week. All right, let's go stream these. Here's my stock picks for this week. Going through that process, there's another 6 stocks, CELH. Here's 2 Contras, I think, because Contras is still on the rise. I got 2 Contras in here and 4 long stocks. Take a picture, whatever you need to do, because I'm going to move on. And then next week, we will take a look at these to see how well they did or bad they did. All right, so that's from the hottest industries in a process that I like to try to go through to find out what stocks are hot industry-wise. No swing trade stuff today, but I did do some speculative trades. I know this room is just full of speculative people. I got 4. Someone just bought millions of dollars of DWAC $25 calls. You know, I'm not getting into the former president on CNN last night. I saw the hashtag going up with hashtag done with CNN. I saw that's going all over the place. All right, so CNN didn't need no negative PR either right now. But listen, I like the idea of them as a more left news organization trying to be more centric. I did like that. All right, don't get me. I did like that. I didn't know. Listen, I'm not getting into it. My speculative plays. All right, my speculative plays are going to have relative values and relative safeties all below 1, but relative timings above 1. All right, these are speculative plays. Let's graph these all real quick. I got so much funny stuff to say. I got so much funny stuff to say about that. Here's my plays. Look at this. Rising volume above the stop. I'm liking this. Let's go put this on to trade. I think it's already on that. Trade. Yeah, there it is. There's my 3 and the 8s. There's the stop price. I do like the move of this stock on big volume. Above the stop price as well. Next one, BZH, Beazer Homes. I'm going to give an added industry today. Outside of building residential commercial, the next industry that I want you guys to keep your eyes on is building cement. Why? Because of all of the chip manufacturing that's getting ready to be built, the battery buildings that are going to be ready to be built, the lithium factories being ready to be built. Keep your eye on cement. That's another industry. Building cement. Mark my words. Somebody mark my words. All right, John says, mark my words. John says, Glenn, we need VV Politics channel. Oh, heck no. Oh, no. I'd be canceled. I'd so be canceled. But I'm telling you, keep your eyes out for building cement. Building cement. But look at Beezer Homes right at a level of resistance. Another one, SPNT, Sirius Point Ltd. I like the look at the move of the 3 and 8 new 3-month high, 1-month high. Wow, EVLV, big volume. These are my speculative plays. All right, these are my speculative plays. Glenn, I was reading about how insurance rates are going up. This stock came up on my ACGL. I got that somewhere. Where's my Glenn's picks? Excuse me. Glenn's picks. Ta-da! How awesome is your Uncle Glenn? How awesome is your Uncle Glenn? It made my list for Glenn's picks. It made my list for Glenn. I knew as you said that. I said, I know. It made, how cool is that? It already caught my attention, John. It already caught my attention. ACGL. It's down today. It's down today, but look at that across the board. So when I give you my picks, I try to give you some of the best picks that are out there. But look at that. Undervalued, 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 undervalued. Look at all of this. So when I give you my picks, my weekly picks, I try very hard to put you in some solid companies. So that's interesting as you said that. Just as I'm getting ready to get finished up here, let's go put this on a 3-month graph. There's SMCI. It's a little sideways, but the stock is still a good one. Let's go to the next one. Wow. First Citizens. Even with all the banking turmoil, First Citizens still looks good. Look at ACGL. You're right. It caught my eye. It made my list. And all of these stocks are fundamentally sound. Here's a drug company, VRTX, rocking and rolling, fundamentally sound. So every week I give you my picks, but I go through to make sure I give you some good, solid picks. And one last thing, in the current market that we're in, I want to look at Contras. On a day like today, look at this. A mixed day, but there's some Contras that are working. LABD, DRV. Ravi's not here. Every time Ravi's here, he's like, hey, Glenn, look at DRV. Today it's moving. But tomorrow it may not be. This is that kind of market that we're in. If you're trading any of these triple leverage Contras, be careful. These are stocks that you trade for the day and then get out. You talking about gold. Remember I was talking about gold and gold looking toppy? Here's my gold plays. Guess what? They're all down. All I'm telling you is just be careful with gold, folks. Just be careful with gold. All right? It all depends on what's going on with the dollar. All right. I think I'm done. We're sitting at 257. Sorry I didn't get to look at your stocks today. But we talked about what stocks made the news. We put them into a watch list. We let VectorVest go through to see what was newsworthy and what was worthy of us to get into. We talked about some of the hottest industries that were out there. I also gave you a tidbit on another hot industry. Keep your eyes on building cement. All of these buildings that are going up need cement. They do. Keep your eyes on building cement. As we start to bring manufacturing back over to us into the United States, and as many companies are stating that they're committing to building the factories to bring the manufacturing, people are going to need it. Mark marked it too, didn't you, Mark? Mark marked it. All right. Steve says gold has extended the same distance from the 200 SMA as it did on March 8th, double top. Then it fell $174, just measure it. Now we have a bearish divergence on the MACD to add to the bear case. I just know we talked about it. I hadn't been real warm and fuzzy about it because of the dollar. All I'm saying is just be careful. Just be careful. ACG on my watch list, says Maria. You know, I saw that stock as a pick, and I wanted to put it out there. All right, how many likes did we get? Let's go see. We got 67 likes. Well, Jim was here. Make sure if you didn't hit the like button for Jim that you do. And if it was worth it for you to be here today, make sure you hit the like button as well. We gave a lot of great information. We do the work, you reap the rewards. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And by the way, that's what it's all about. We want to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So thank you guys for being here. If you need cement, you are more likely to need steel too. Absolutely. That's going to be another industry. I'm waiting for that one to pop though. But you know something? I shouldn't have to wait for that to pop. Cement, and keep your eye on steel as well, Albert. That's a good call. keep your eye on steel as well. That really is a good call. All right. With that, buildings need glass. Listen, now you're just adding more and more stuff. All right, hold on. Cement, steel, glass. All right, 3 industries. Always worth it, Glenn. You always bring great topics. Thank you. Thank you, John. Stay awesome, Glenn. Thank you, Swafford. Thank you, Glenn. Steve, RT40. And Jeff, I'm going to keep that in mind. TGLS. I will keep that in mind. Do we need to call it cement? No, no. It's ooh-wee, not cement. It's 2 different things. People need cement feet to, John. This ain't that kind of place. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that here. Hold on. We don't talk about that here. Sorry. All right, I got to get ready to go. Thank you guys for being here. We have a next live stream tomorrow at 12 p.m. The VectorVest mobile app coaching. Be there for that as well. Not a cement pond. No, Albert. Sigh. I am going to look at TGLS. Hoorah. Thank you for that. Look at that. VST, RV, growth. I'm going to keep my eyes on it. And you may not be wrong. Those might be 3 industries to keep your eyes on. All right, I got to go. Stop talking. I got to go. Adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Bom dia, salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Until next time, folks, see ya.